Hello there. We are starting the exciting part of making our ankle socks. This is what the pattern is going to look like when we're done. Ankle socks. And the pattern is called Bernat Socks Ankle Socks to Knit. And it's a free pattern on the Bernat Yarn website, www.bernat.com. And we're using Bernat Socks yarn. I'm using the color Hot Tamale. Lots of fun, bright colors. So far, I have finished the ribbing, and I've finished the ankle, and now we're going to start the heel. And the heel is where all the fun starts. Now, before you get started, look at your knitting and find out where your yarn is coming from. And be careful, because sometimes it can be wrapped around the needle, and it can be pulled like this, and you'll think that it's coming from here. So be sure you get it unwrapped from all your needles so you can see exactly where that yarn was last used. So that's the beginning of your round. Now, up to now we've been using this yarn tail as our guide to show us where the end of the round was. And we're not going to really need to worry about that anymore, because now we're going to be making the heel, and it's going to have a very recognizable shape to it, which will help us see where to begin and end the rest of our rows. Now, to make the heel, if you look at your instructions, it says make heel, divide, and then it has these numbers here, stitches, onto the second needle, onto 2 needles, and leave that for the end step. So all these numbers here are the different sizes. The 20 stitches is for extra small, 24 is for small, 28 is for medium, and 32 is for large. I'm making size medium, so I've circled the 28 to help me remember. In fact, I did that at the beginning of the pattern. I went through and circled all the second numbers of all these things in parentheses to help me remember what I'm doing. So I need to divide 28 stitches on the second needle onto 2 needles and leave that for the end step. The end step of the sock is the top part that comes across the foot, and that's called the end step. I've always thought that was a strange name for it. I think it should be called top of foot. To me, the end step should be something under here because you're stepping on it, but you know, I'm not the person who came up with the words for sock descriptions. So end step is the top of the foot. So we're going to have 28 stitches set aside that are going to be for the end step. Now you notice that they said divide the 28 stitches on the second needle. So they're talking about this needle up here. If you look at your knitting so far, this is needle 1, this is needle 2, and this is needle 3. So we need to divide those stitches up there. So first let's look and see how many stitches we have on the number 2 needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, it looks like we got 28, so that's good. 28 stitches are the ones that they're talking about, and those need to be divided onto 2 needles. So what we're going to do is split that in half. So 28 divided by 2 is 14. So I need to put 14 on another needle. So I'm just going to get my empty needle here. You only need 4 needles to make these socks. You don't need an extra one. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, I need to get a better grip on this. It's hard reaching around the camera to do these things. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There. Now I've got all my end step stitches divided. There. That's going to be the top of the foot. Now if you look at your knitting that you've done so far, if you flip it up, you'll notice now that this is the top of your sock, and that's the spot that your top of your foot is going to be. So way back here is where the heel is going to be. So needle 1 is still the same, needle 2 has been split in half, and needle 3 is still the same. So now let's look at the next part of the directions. That's the end step up there. Now it says to knit a certain number of stitches off of the first needle onto the end of the third needle. Now it says what I need to do is 16 stitches right here. See, we already did the thing where we fixed up the second needle. Now we're going to knit, and I'm going to knit 16 stitches off the first needle onto the end of the third needle. If you're doing extra small, you would only knit 10 stitches. But what they're saying in effect is that you're going to put all the stitches that are on needle 1 onto needle 3, but you don't slip them on, you knit them on. So we turn the needle this way, shoop, and we slide that down. So we don't need another needle. We can use needle 3 to knit with now. It's going to feel kind of uncomfortable because everything's real tight and it's all held together. But this is just an extra skill for a knitter to learn, is to be able to knit socks. So there's 1, 2. So don't put a stitch marker there. Don't worry about it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I hope my light doesn't go out. There's a storm outside. 11, 12. Let's see, I have 4 left. I'm going to have just enough. 13, 14, 15, 16. There. Now I've got all the stitches that were on the needle 1 and 1 and 3 all together on this needle. Now let's read what it says. So we knitted all those off. Now we're ready for the next row. So before I start the next row, I'm going to take a break so that you'll be able to get all your stitches lined up the way mine are. So now you're going to have a lot of stitches on the first needle up here, and then your instep stitches are going to be set aside just like that. So that's what your stitches should look like. Good luck to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!